My earliest memory in life was drowning, if you can believe it. I crawled off the dock, fell in the water, and floated face down, looking at the beautiful rainbows. And I thought it was the most incredible place in the world until my mother snatched me out of there and pulled me in close, screaming. And I was laughing. But I remember what it looked like, and I've wanted to be in the water ever since.
When you get out there on the launch pad, you're anxious to go. You want them to light the 7.5 million pound of thrust. You want to get into orbit. So you're thinking, light this baby and let's go fly in space.
As an aquanaut, I get to go into these portals, into the planet, and see the most remarkable things.
The thing that makes humans unique is our curiosity, our questioning as to why and can I do this.
I feel more at home when I'm climbing than at any other time in my life. Even when there's real danger present, I feel such a profound sense of peace.
深海とか、登山とかに例えた場合に誰も行ったことがないんでどういうものがあるかどういうような仕組みで動いているのかってことも全くわからない未知の世界だと思います。
Where I dive, it's like the world's greatest library that we're only beginning to take the first volumes out of. My longest dive was over 20 hours. That was a woman's world record. I believe it still holds.
I am the first American woman to summit Mount Everest 3 times. It's a 60-day expedition. You make multiple trips through very, very dangerous areas, and you have to be committed to that the whole time.
Some people say, what is this, some kind of an adrenaline rush for you? You know, do you have a death wish? It's not that at all. It is a desire to solve problems that nobody could figure out.
ちっちゃい頃に念力とかテレパシー実現できたらいいなと思ってましたが、現在できつつあるという状況に達してます。今回脳波とあと脳血流を同時に計測をしてるんですが、例えば私が右手を動けって思えばそれが伝わってパシモがライトハンドっていう感じで手を挙げるという形です。
Brain machine interface, is that the coolest thing you've ever heard about? How do you control something by your mind? It's just fascinating.
将来 BMI というところで、もちろんそういう体を動かせない方にモビリティを提供するっていうこともできると思いますし、私たちはそれを一般の方に、使えるような形で作り上げてきたということで貢献したと思います。
We really are on sort of a frontier. And you don't know until you take that leap of faith how that product or that research or that technology could be applied to improve everybody's life.
I find some of the research done into mobility in Japan very inspiring. My father-in-law actually has MS, and a lot of these inventions that we see coming out are about mobility and about keeping people active.
誰もやってないことを自分が一番初めに成し遂げてやろうという気持ちは多分登山家と研究者は似ているところがあると思います。たどり着いた時の爽快感っていうのは非常に、研究者ならではのメリットかなと思います。
If you ask any of the great explorers, they're all going to say, yes, there's an element of science about what we do. But there's also the tremendous thrill, the first motorized flight, the first landing on the moon, the guy to get to the bottom of the deepest cave on Earth. It's exhilarating.
When you do push the envelope and you experience fear, it's like there's a new boundary for what is possible.
It is that sense of unknown. Every moment, life is happening, and the response that I choose will ultimately affect my life.
I was doing a free rappel about 220 feet in a big wild cave, and my rappel got out of control. I started to go too fast, and there was one guy at the bottom close enough to the rope to haul down on it. If he hadn't been there, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you now.
One night I was on my way home. It was snowy and about 32 degrees, and it's unbelievable, but a police car pulled across the road, and there was nothing I could do to stop, and I slammed right into him. And that event was just shocking to me.
In a moment like that, understanding what the consequences could be, it blows away everything else. It blows away thoughts of the future, thoughts of the past. In a way, it's almost like an extreme meditation moment.
I've crashed thousands of vehicles, literally thousands of vehicles, but I've never been in a crash before. What that cemented in my mind is the need to do something beyond airbags, seat belts, and safety structures. I'm developing systems right now that allow cars to talk to each other. It's seamless to the driver. The driver doesn't have to do anything. Ideally, in the future, it would just prevent a collision from ever happening.
When I began to dive, I started with a single scuba tank. And over the years, we've had to add more and more complexity in order to achieve deeper depths, longer times, more extreme locations.
The great explorers prove that humans can get to those places and can exist and can function there. Later come the great benefits of science.
People ask me all the time, well, why do we want to go to space? Well, I think that's an honorable thing to do, but we also develop a lot of technologies that improve our situation here on Earth.
The engineers can always propose a research theme where we would go up to our executive and say, this is some sort of technology that we want to look at, and we can just go wild. Working on the Odyssey project, I've gotten to try to run many experiments. I get to design my own types of test equipment. Usually we break things, so we're always coming up with new ways to break things. I feel that it gives me opportunity to explore ways to make everybody's life better and more safe.
今やってみたいものは一つありまして、やはり人間の脳を作りたいということを考えています。不可能だと思うんですけど、ぜひチャレンジしたい。研究者としてチャレンジしたい。
Honda supports people going off in wild directions and has a belief in people to do anything that they set their mind to. Because it's interesting science and it's the unknown, and somebody's got to blaze that trail.
People who are extreme mountaineers, extreme divers, extreme pilots, you find this deep inner drive that they can't really explain, but they can't resist either.
What drives me is to try to make a difference for society. It's always been a dream of mine to be able to prevent collisions from happening.
My hope is that I can inspire people to go out and pursue what is not possible.
確かにできないと諦めてしまうのは簡単なんですけど、それをなんとか成し遂げようって努力してやっていくことは非常に楽しいことですし、やはり不可能にチャレンジするっていうのは人間が唯一できることだと思いますし、やらないといけないことだと思ってます。
If we give someone more freedom and more opportunity to use their imagination, then they will deliver beyond your wildest dreams. But they've got to be given the opportunity to explore, the opportunity to face fear, because it's through all those things that we learn what's the next level.